Hi, we're Richard and Jackie from Early Retirement Wanderlust.
It's the end of March, it's Easter Sunday, and the clocks are changing tonight.
So it's time for us to get our van completely de-winterised and ready for all our summer adventures.
So as we said, it is the end of March. It just happens to be Easter Sunday, but more importantly for us is we get more daylight hours, and we are so excited about that. It is coming into probably our favourite time of the year after coming off the back of a pretty long winter.
Yeah, we have had the most wonderful winter. We went skiing in the van for 6 weeks and it probably needs a bit of a clean-up ready for the summer.
So what we're going to do in this video is take you through exactly what we do to de-winterise and declutter the van, what things we take with us on our summer adventures, because we're really excited. We are only a couple of weeks away from heading off to the southwest coast for a bit of surfing, so that's going to be our first summer adventure. But it doesn't really matter. The van needs to be ready for nights away, weekends away, or some longer adventures over the course of the summer.
We've actually had the most wonderful winter this year. We've had quite a few weekends away and we have recently come back from 6 weeks where we were skiing in the French Alps. The van was pretty trashed after that 6 weeks. The biggest issue being that lots of condensation had formed on the windows every night. So the first thing we did when we got back was put the dehumidifier on for 24 hours just to make sure all of that lingering moisture that was left in the van is cleared. And the other thing that I've done is put a few of these into the cupboards just to make sure that any moisture that was in the cupboards has gone as well. Actually, I've already thrown one of these out that was pretty solid, but this one's been in for a few days and it's okay.
So once we were happy that all the condensation and moisture had gone out of the van, it was then the big cleanup, and it did need a good cleanup. Sign of a good van is it's a little bit messy, and sign of a good winter is the van was very messy. So we gave it a complete clean from top to bottom on the inside, and on the outside it just needed plenty of jet washing to get rid of all the winter grime that builds up over the course of a winter out in the Alps. Probably the most important thing for us for summer was to give the solar panel a good clean and to check that it was working correctly, because in the summer we're absolutely dependent on that solar panel for giving us power when we're off grid to keep the fridge nice and cold.
Another thing that we still haven't managed to get around to doing because of the weather is we want to re-proof the popped up tent. It was okay when we were out in the French Alps, it didn't leak, but we haven't done it for 2 or 3 years, so we do like to do that regularly.
And then ironically, when we were preparing to make this video this morning, we realised that half our summer kit was actually locked away in our storage locker. So we've been down there this morning, we have dumped all our winter skiing kit over there and swapped it out for our summer kit. So what we want to do now is take you through and just show you what we do to prepare our van for summer. You know, it might not be for everyone and it's certainly not a perfect list, but it works for us.
To me, this is one of the most exciting times of the year, when we can finally get all the tables and chairs out and be able to sit outside and just have all this open space. In the summer, we travel with just a couple of collapsible chairs that we'll tuck away into the cupboard. We do have a big table that we can use both inside and outside, and we travel with this all year round. And then we do also bring a little table with us just for when we're barbecuing as a little bit of an extra space to put stuff on. Over the past 6 years, we have had several different kinds of chairs, some more durable than others. But during lockdown, we did treat ourselves to these. And the thing that we like about them is they pack down so small that we can fit them into our boot.
Because we tend to tour quite extensively in the van and we don't tend to stay on campsites for that long, we decided not to go for extravagant awning, and we just keep it really simple, which is probably what you'd expect from 2 really simple people. We have a fly sheet awning that we use quite extensively when we're out in Europe because it keeps the sun off, but it also is really good for keeping the rain off and also just claims a bit of space, and it makes the van feel a little bit bigger. It's really, really simple. It just tucks into this awning mounting that's on the side of the van. It's pegged out, it's poled out, and it just serves our purposes really well.
Something else we get really excited about when we get to spring, autumn and summer is that we can get the fire out. This fire pit is actually a Snow Peak one that Richard was gifted when he retired from his school. It was quite expensive, but it is really, really handy. It just folds up like that, goes into this handy little bag, and we can store it in the cupboard. We did buy an extra little base that goes with it, that it sits on, because we have been at a campsite before, not with this fire pit particularly, where some coals have gone onto the grass and we have set fire to the grass. So ever the conscious, we bought that as well. Essentials to go with your fire pit: we do travel with our axe and a little chopping block so that we can chop firewood, and we take this handy little container and just shove it under the van that's full of firewood when we go away. Before we were gifted the Snow Peak fire pit, we did have a really cool little portable fire pit that we'd bought from Amazon. They're about £20. They just come with little bits of metal that go into some sort of stand with a mesh on top of it, and you could take it to the beach. It was really portable, really cheap, and really, really good.
Probably one of the most contentious issues in our family is to do with barbecues, because Jackie's South African, our kids are mad into barbecue, and Luke would probably say that gas barbecues are not barbecues at all. However, we absolutely love our Kadak gas barbecue. It hooks into the LPG tank, and it just gives us a quick and easy way and a whole range of different ways of cooking outside, which in the summer is what it's all about. So it does have a cover that doesn't actually fit in the bag, but it does allow you to steam and broil while using the Kadak. So that's really, really useful. It then comes with a range of different hot plates. We've also got a pizza stone that sits on this, and when you combine it with the lid, you can cook pizzas when you're out in the wild. One of the things we definitely need to do this year is to replace the hose, because there is a life expectancy on the hose and ours is a little bit out of date, so we need to replace that before we go away. Interestingly, it has a pot stand, so you can just use it as a normal gas burner outside, and we use that for low and slow cooking. But what we're really excited about this year is that, following on from loads of recommendations from you, our viewers, is that we bought a Ridge Monkey. So the prospect of toasted sandwiches and a whole host of oven style cooking is now within our grasp. So yeah, we just love our barbecue, spend a lot of time sitting outside cooking, and it's one of our great joys when we're away. As well as traveling with the Kadak, there are so many accessories that who knew you absolutely needed in terms of barbecuing. One of the things that we put in the van and keep in the van in one of our storage containers is loads and loads of different spices. It's really, really useful to have these, because you can take the simplest piece of chicken or steak and it can just make it absolutely beautiful. You also need a good set of tongs, and we have gone through various sets, and to be honest, you do get what you pay for. These are Kadak ones, they work really well. We love them. And then the final bit of barbecue snobbery, particularly when you are using the barbecue to slow cook larger pieces of meat, is a meat thermometer. Something that I thought I would never say I needed, but it's just a really simple thing. It just opens up, you can probe the meat, and it just makes sure that you are not likely to kill yourself with food poisoning.
One of Richard's finest Christmas presents that he's ever bought me, in his mind, is my portable shower. And we have actually used it quite a lot when we've been on trips and we have used park hooks instead of campsites. It's so simple to use. You just need one kettle full of boiling water and then top up the rest of it into here, lock it, get the pressurised action going so that it's just full of pressurised water, and then it will spurt water out of the shower. Our family and friends think we have absolutely lost the plot, but after a couple of days when you've been wild camping, we've been very grateful for this. We always travel with this wooden duckboard that Richard's dad very kindly made for us a few years ago, and it comes in pretty handy for us to use it when we're showering. It actually sits by the front of the van, and it's great for keeping all of the mud and the muck out of the van, both summer and winter. Something that we do need to still order so that we're ready to go for the summer is some environmentally friendly shampoos and body wash, just to make sure that if we do use the hose lock shower that we're not disturbing nature.
Something that I really love in summer is my little portable hammock that goes everywhere with us. It just stays in the boot and you just never know when you are going to find two trees that are a suitable distance that you can set this up. It is the most comfortable thing to lie in and laze the afternoons, read a good book. It really brings me joy for something that is so small and relatively cheap.
In the video that we did preparing our van for winter, we talked about packing some games that we would play inside the van. In the summer, we like to just get out and about playing games, and this is one example of something that we take with us. It's a game called Cub. It's basically like giant Skittles. It is pretty good fun to play. The aim of the game is to score exactly 50, so whatever Skittles you knock over, that's the score that you get. If you go over 50, you have to go back to 25 again. It's quite good for kids. It's really great for their adding up skills, and it's just good fun for adults. Something else that we need to do to get our van ready for the summer is just to use some sort of disinfectant or sterilising liquid to clean the underslung water tank. Over the winter we haven't used it at all because we were in the French Alps and there was a potential that it would probably freeze on us. So it's just something to bear in mind that you do need to do quite regularly. I know there's specialist products out there that some people prefer to use with their motorhomes, particularly if you're drinking the water. We actually only use our water tank for boiling water in the kettle or for washing up. So we always have this little bag of tricks ready to go when we go summer camping. So first two items coming out. 2 picnic blankets, whether we're going out to the seaside or whether we're going in the mountains. They're pretty handy.
We also have a variety of flasks, and if you've seen some of our videos previously, you'll know that it's not necessarily for coffee. So we have a flask that we first got, it was for our wedding anniversary, and this was exclusively kept for white and rosé wines. And then Jackie went a little bit more trendy and we got this as a portable water bottle, but then our wonderful niece who designed the Early Retirement Wanderlust logo for us got us a couple of these water bottles, and we always keep those in the van because it's much cheaper and, you know, much healthier to be drinking your own water than actually going out and buying fizzy drinks.
When we're out and about in the mountains or at the seaside, we always love taking a bit of a picnic with us to save money. So we've just got a nice little cool bag that we have in the van ready.
We don't massively use the big cool bag. That small cool bag is really, really useful and seems to fit our purposes. There is a bit of a drinks theme going on here, but we got some matching insulated cups, and they are really, really good for keeping your drinks cool in summer, and we use them because they're much more durable than glass, although we do like having a couple of glasses in the van because we don't like drinking out of plastic.
And then the last two things in our little bag is for when we have the awning up. I always have some bunting so I can decorate the awning, and some fairy lights because you can't travel in the summer with your awning out without some fairy lights.
And then on the picnic theme, because we spend quite a bit of time at the beaches and beaches tend to be a little bit windy, we have a beach shelter that we take with us, and that just stays in the boot because it's really, really handy. You don't have to use it all the time, but it's really handy to keep the wind off when it's a little bit breezy.
Both summer and winter, we do still travel with a variety of blankets, particularly for travelling in the UK because it can get pretty cool in the evenings, so we have one each. We do change over our bedding from winter bedding. We've got a really lightweight 3.5 tog duvet.
So that's it. We hope that you have found some of the stuff that we've shared with you of use. It is purely our personal sort of packing list, so it might not be right for everyone, but hopefully there's something that you can take away. But that's it. The sun is out. We are really looking forward to summer and just getting out and about and exploring what's out there. See you later.
Bye.